Welcome to another video from DIY Daily. I'm just going to put this video together today showing you how to, I'm going to have a go at retrofitting cruise control and the disc system to my A4B7 2006 model. Disc system's the extra trip options there, so you've got your menu. On the stalk that I've got at the minute, it's just a normal stalk, and the only menu you have on the dash is the miles left on the tank, so this will give us the full trip menu. So we're going to install that and the cruise control. On my model, I don't actually need to fit the new steering module, so I'm only going to take the cruise control switch off separate and the disc lever, and I'll be able to fit them onto the steering module without swapping the whole lot over. It just depends on which model you've got on yours as to whether it'll take it or not. So, but all the info for that's on the Ross Wiki site. I'll put some links in the description below to where you can find out all the coding and what modules you need to suit your own. But we'll get started just stripping it down, and I'll show you what we've got to do next. Right, now the first thing I've done is disconnect the car battery. Just disconnected the negative terminal just to make sure we're safe working with everything. So, right, and I've got the, because I don't need to use the squib or the steering control module on mine, because it's got the steering wheel suited for the controls, which means that the module, it's got the right number on it. I've checked through the VCDS that it will take the cruise control already, so I can just literally swap the stalk. So I've stripped this stalk down so we can swap that separate, and you can take just the cruise control stalk out of there as well, but I'm going to fit it complete with a switch there, which is going to be a bit easier to swap over. But they're all ready to swap once we get it stripped down now. The first thing we've got to do is on the steering wheel, on each side, you've got these two little, you see that little tab there? We'll flick that out on that side. You've got the same again there on that side, and that will reveal you've got a Torx 30 socket there, which I've got on that, and we can unscrew that and we'll get the airbag out, and then we can mark the steering wheel and get that off. So we'll just pop them out quick now. Just want to use a little pick just to flick them out. If you put it up in the top position, it's a bit easier. Just pop them little tabs out. Once you've got them out, if you turn it to the horizontal position, you should just be able to get in with your Torx. One loose. Silver loose. Now that's loose, you can pop the airbag out. Yeah, if you just be careful when you pull the airbag out, not to tug on the wires too hard. You can take all these off individually, but if you do, you've got a couple of connectors there that you've got to pop the little yellow tabs up on, and then you can pop them out. Another one there and another little one there, but it's a bit easier if you just just get a little pick, and if you just flick the purple tag back towards you, I'll just pop the connector off there. So you got the first connector out. The second one, you'll just see there's a little tab there, but it's easier if you just get underneath with the pick, just underneath the front bit there. It's just a little bit tight to get in, and you can pop the pop that up. And slide that out there. Just get a little bit tight, and then the airbag's completely out of the way then. Now you can see the inside the steering wheel here. The next thing we're going to do is undo this centre nut. We've got it's an M12 triple hex socket there for that. But as soon as we've undone the nut, you just need to be careful you don't pull the steering wheel off with it, because there's not a master spline, so we're just going to have to mark the steering wheel against the shaft as well. So I'll just get that nut out and then I'll show you. Right, so now the nut's out of the way, you can see the centre shaft there and the steering wheel. There's a mark on the actual steering wheel itself, but no mark on the shaft. So all I'm going to do, you can either paint mark it, but I'm just going to just score the bit of metal there. I'll just try to show you on the camera there, but I've just scored the shaft with a pick, just so you can see, just in line with the centre spline mark there, just so I put it back in the same place, that's all. And you can take the steering wheel off. It's not a bad idea on these Volkswagen squibs, but they actually have a little tab here that when you remove your steering wheel, it does actually lock the squib, so you can't move it too far and damage it. It just saves you damages and that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this bottom cover off. You've got 3 8mm on the cover. Pop this side panel out of the way. Just pop that side panel out of the way there. There's an 8mm behind that. And then you've got 2 up and underneath the bottom side of it there. So we'll take them off, and then it pulls out towards you. We'll get that out of the way, and then we'll be able to get the cowling off after that. Next job's going to be to get the cowling off. You got a little Torx 8 socket it is. You need one with quite a narrow shaft as well. You've just got to go up through them holes just there. There's 2 of these at the front, and then in the middle, can't quite see them on there, but there's you'll see once you get under there, there's 2 Allen bolts as well. You just want a little long reach 5mm Allen key, 4mm Allen key to get them off. So I'll just get that cowling out of the way. Pull that into the steering wheel lock out of the way. You can access the first one, it's right in the middle there. The next one's a little bit further back, just to the side. just got to guide your cowling around the steering wheel position like that. So the only thing we're going to have to do on this one tonight, you can buy another trim. You can buy another trim to suit the cruise control, but I've just got to cut a little section of it out just to fit the cruise control slot, that's all. Now we can see a bit more of the squib and that there. The next thing we're going to do is take this squib out of the way. Now we've got 3 little tabs, one there, one there, and another one just on the bottom. All we're going to do is get a little pick underneath them and flick them out, and we'll pull it forward. Just before we do that, we're going to take this connector off on the back. Now you can't see it on top, but on the underneath of it, there's a little pull tab. You just pull it back, and then it'll pop it off there. So it'll come off quite easy. But we'll just get that squib out of the way. Right, we can see everything a bit more clearly now. This is, now that that's off, this is all freely moving here. You can take it off all as one piece, but there's a connector on the back. You need to detach the wiring loom across the top there as well. But I don't actually need to take the whole lot off on this model here. I did one last week where we had to swap the whole lot over because the steering module is different. But this section at the back here is the steering control module, which mine's got a Q on it. Which basically means it is compatible for cruise control, even though it hasn't got it. So I've only got to swap just that stalk piece. But I've put some links to the Ross Tech Wiki site, and it's really well detailed on there, explaining what steering modules you'll need, and it's got loads of coding information and everything on there. But it's got some good videos as well that are easy to follow. So if you want to know the exact bits, it's probably worth just checking on that site there. But I'll just run through the basic replacement and just coding this one up with the codes that I've worked out for mine. So, yeah, but I'll just get these. I'll just get the bits swapped over now. Again, we've just got these tiny little Torx screws to swap them over. Another T8 they are. So, if you're interested in any of the tools that I'm using, I've put some links to them as well. Yeah, one other little issue we're going to have tonight as well with installing this system, it will leave a washer fluid light on the dash. So we're going to need to, I'll go into a bit more detail later, but there's a connector on the back of the dashboard that we're going to take off, and we need to put pin 1 on that connector to an earth that's coming out of the plug. So what comes back, it comes out of the dashboard looking for an earth, and if we earth that up, that'll take the light off. You can either do that, or you can retrofit a washer fluid level sensor to the tank, but I'm not too worried about that, so I'm just going to earth it out, and that'll stop that warning coming on. But we'll get these stalks swapped over and go from there. Right, we've got the right hand stalk out of the way, but to pull the centrepiece through, we're just going to need this bit of wiring loom attaches to a little plastic bracket there, and you can just see there's a little peg either side on that. You just need to flick that off, and then you'll be able to just get that little bracket out of the way there, and be able to pull it through it. Push that little clip out as well. just swap that over. I'll just slot the new one back into place. Right, now the cruise one's on, we'll just put the disc system stalk into place. Now that's on, we'll slide the squib back into place. Just make sure your all three connectors just clip over. And then we can pop that little bracket on with the wiring loom as well. Plug the little yellow connector back in. Right, now that we're back together, so I ain't got a second-hand cowling for mine to suit cruise control, so I'm just gonna noggin out and just cut the trim a little bit further down, just in between the two grooves there, just to suit where the cruise controller lever fits up to. We'll just get that trimmed out quick. I've just got that noggined out quick. Just used the hole saw through the middle there, and then just hacksawed up the edge there just to square it off. But you can't really see on here. I mean, I've run up to it anyway, but there is like a slight outline that you can just see to where you need to cut anyway. So that's just got that trimmed out. But before we get the cowlings back on, I'm just going to show you get this connector out. You can get up from underneath here, just from under that side of the dashboard, and there's a blue connector on the back of the dashboard that we need to undo and get that down so that we can pin one out to stop that light. So I'll just get that connector down and show you what we've got to do. Right, so we're just going to come down and underneath the bottom of the dash there. And if you look up, bottom left hand corner of the dash, you can see this blue connector here. And it's got a little orange tab on it. You just want your pick and get under there and flick that up. And then push the tab up to the top. And that'll allow you to pop the connector out there. So all we've got to do is get that out of the way. We've just got to cut that cable tie off. So we can slide, the pink bit there is the inner piece which you can slide out. And you can see on here, you probably can't quite see it on the camera, but if you look at it closely, there is the numbers marked on there as well. So we can see pin 1 is this end one here. So if we get that, we'll get that down and out, and then we'll trace pin 1, cut that and join an extra wire on it. Just do that quick now. Right, so all we've got to do, this is just a little pink cap that holds the centrepiece in. So if you flick that cap off, pop it out, flick the cap off, and then cut the cable tight. You can then slide the centre out and just make note of pin 1, which is from us this way on, is that top corner. So we now know we're on that wire there. Cheers. So you can see pin 1 is the brown and red wire there. And basically the wire coming out of the dash is looking for an earth. So all we're going to do is snip this wire here a little bit further up so that we can insulate the other side of it, and then we're going to join the wire section to that. Just cut it far enough out of the loom so that it gives you a bit of room for the connector. Snip that there, and we've made a little extension section of wire, just this little piece here with a ring terminal on it. We're going to connect that to it, and then we'll be able to earth this out. We'll just find a bracket and we'll earth that to it. If we join this, it'll give us, we've done it a bit long, but that just gives us a bit of scope for So we've got a nice long bit of wire on there, so we can join that up and pop that back into the connector. So now that's ready, all we're going to do, there is an earth point up the top there, but I'm just going to take out one of these 10 mils, put the little ring terminal around that, under that, and then just tuck the wire and cable tie it up nicely out of the way. And just get that done. So we've bolted that earth up now, you can just see it just up there, and cable tied the wire up out of the way. So now that that's on, we'll get the bottom cowling on, secure that to the top, and the steering wheel back on, and then we'll have a go at coding it. Just to put the steering wheel on, you can just mark them 2 lines right where they go as well. When you're just popping that airbag connector on, just make sure you hear the clip so you know it's gone home. Just show you as well, there is just a little bit at the back, just where that connector clips into. That just holds it to the back so it's out of the way of the airbag. And just pops in back in place. And lift the airbag back up. Right, everything's back together now. We've just reconnected the battery, just because the battery's been off, the traction light was on, so just give it a quick run down the road to clear the traction light. We've got the snap-on scanner plugged in. I've got a little document here that I've printed off from a Google Drive, and I'll attach a link to that as well. It's just really handy and easy to follow for the coding, but we'll run through the coding with you now. So we're using the Modus Edge today. And we're going to do it going through expert mode. The first thing we're going to do is go into the steering control module and basically tell it it's got cruise control and disc now. And then we're going to have to go to the engine ECU and tell it's got cruise control. And then we're going to go into the dash and tell it it's got the disc system. So we've just gone into it now, just to take a note of the original coding. So if you want to write that down or screenshot it, you'll just know the original coding, so you can always revert back to it. So it's the new coding accepted by the steering ECU. Now each time you come out in expert mode, just make sure you go down to stop communication rather than just going straight back out of it. Because we've got the snap-on machine, you have to log in through the security access. If it's any other VCDS, then you probably won't have to do that, but you do on the snap-on machine. We'll do that. Now this is the security access code for all 4-cylinder diesels. So as long as you've got a 4-cylinder diesel, you can use the same code to get into yours. Now that we've done the security access, we'll go into the engine and tell it it's got the cruise control. Now the engine side's done, we're going to go into the instrument panel option and tell it it's, we'll do the coding to say that it's got the disc on it now. Obviously if you was just fitting the cruise control you wouldn't have to do this, but now we're going to go to adaptation channel 19 and add the dysfunction. And then we can exit through stop communication. Now we've come back out of that, we're just checking the disc function's working already, straight away with the control and the stalk there. So we've now got the full menu, all the options on there that you can set up. Say before all we had was just the fuel left in the tank till empty, so now we've got a full menu on there. And just before we come fully out, we're just going to go back through the snap-on scanner just to check the operation of the stalk, the cruise control stalk on the clutch switch. And just do that through the normal mode. All we're going to do is just run it through on the live data and just see what it's reading. We've got the cruise control system there. We'll just try the buttons. And you can see they're all operating. So we'll just clear out of that now, turn the ignition off, disconnect that, give it a quick spin down the road. It should all be working now. Hope the video helped. If it did, just give it a thumbs up and comment and subscribe to the channel. We'll just give it a quick spin, we'll just let you know everything's alright quick. Lovely job, everything's all working nicely. So we've got a few more options on the display now. So we've got the average MPG there, just from that quick run. Stalks all fitted in nicely, everything works spot on. Only kicks in after 30 mile an hour, but yeah, it works really well, so well chuffed for that. It's only cost me 40 quid for the second hand column with the 2 bits on that I needed, and just a bit of time to get it all fitted. So if you want to have a go yourself, it's a fairly straightforward job really. You just need someone with a scanner to code it all up. I'm not trying to explain the coding bit too much because it is it's a little bit tricky, but it's all explained really well on the Ross Tech wiki site, so all the links are in the description below for that. But yeah, I hope you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I've got a few more Audi A4 B7 repairs on there. There's a rear spring, an oil drive as well, and an oil and filter change. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.